Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. I'm Bill.
I'm DK.
Or
And
if
I'm
WWE,
looking forward to the show.
or if WWE has their way, it will be the D and B Wrestling Podcast show soon, since it's changing everybody's names. So
Yeah, I don't know what do you think the reason is for all the name changes?
I think it's for copyright reasons and for WWE
Yeah,
to get some more money, even though they don't really need it.
well, I
But
guess that's the way it goes sometimes.
but we got a heck of a show. Oh my gosh, what a review we
Yeah,
got today.
it kind of like I was watching a little bit of this certain year, but I hadn't seen the Rumble show in a while, so
Yeah.
I threw it up there, and it kind of unanimously won the poll.
Yeah, I think like all but one
It was
person
like,
picked this
yeah.
show.
And I have been sharing it around, and yeah, it blew the other show out of the way. Like No Mercy 99 was your choice, and I was actually looking forward to checking that one out as well.
Right.
But so hopefully we can review that one on a later date.
Yeah, at some point I think we'll get to it.
Oh yeah,
And we'll also talk about at the end of the show our profile poll that's going on right now.
yeah.
But we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But I guess before we get into this, the only thing really that I could think of talking about besides all the name changes is what's going to happen on Raw tonight. You've got Finn Balor defending the U.S. title against Austin. Theory.
He's not Austin Theory anymore, right?
Not Austin Theory anymore.
He's just Theory.
See, they blew. Okay, I'm going to say something. They blew $1 million idea there. They could have just done a Theory.
A Theory, yeah.
Initially, hold on, I got my. Yeah, just do like a period Theory. Like
Sure.
That's $1 million idea. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Yeah, well, I know that like a lot of times they get a guy over, and then they'll like take his first name away from him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just becomes like whatever his last name is. So
Right.
like remember it was Big E Langston
Right.
for a while, and then it just turned into Big E, and
Which makes sense.
There's a lot of like other examples. So
basically,
yeah.
we're gonna get to a point, I think, where everyone is either going to have just a first name or a last name.
Yeah.
We will no longer have Roman Reigns. It will be Roman. We will no longer have Seth Rollins. It will be Rollins. We will no longer have Bianca Belair. It'll be Bianca or Belair. It's gonna. I really think everyone by the end of this year is either gonna have just a first name or a last name.
Yeah, and do they have to say Seth freaking Rollins every time they are talking about him?
That's what they're going with right now. So.
Like now the Seth freaking Rollins, that was kind of like his character when he was a babyface.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of turned into this, like, he kind of reminds me of have you seen the Joker, the movie The Joker?
I mean, I've seen bits of it, but I know where you're going with it.
Like the way he portrays, like he's just laughing kind of psychotically, and he's dancing around, and he's wearing all these like elaborate suits. I'm wondering.
So ugly.
Oh, I know. And I'm just wondering if maybe he's portraying that Joker character just a little bit.
Maybe.
To
Speaking of suits, do you have your suit ready for the double wedding tonight?
I don't have my suit ready.
Did you even get them a gift? Did you get them gifts?
No, I did not.
Oh,
how about you?
I spent so much money on Akira Tozawa and Tamina because they deserve as much attention as Reggie and Dana Brooke do. So,
has there ever been a wedding except for maybe Randy Savage and Elizabeth that actually went off and everything went well and nothing happened?
I know.
Nobody came out.
No, I don't think there's been, with the exception of Randy and Elizabeth, a wedding where it's gone all the way, no harm, no foul.
Like, don't get married on Raw. It's not gonna go well. Something will happen.
Don't get married on Raw. Don't get married on SmackDown.
Yep. Or pay-per-view
Any
or whatever. SummerSlam 91,
is the exception.
that's the exception.
That's the
So
exception.
so a double wedding tonight on Raw, okay.
Double wedding on Raw tonight.
I'll have to.
I actually will watch just for the double wedding.
You know me, like I watch the big shows, and then this show is mostly about talking about the past, but it has been getting better. I don't know what they're gonna do. It's kind of funny how Shinsuke Nakamura is the next opponent when he was in a losing tag team match at WrestleMania.
Right.
You think you might reward someone that won a match? Obviously, I think this is like they're changing things up because I think they were supposed to win the tag titles, and then Woogs got hurt. So unfortunately, we're gonna get kind of what I predicted. We're gonna have a bunch of people fed to Roman, and he'll beat them, and then we'll see. And then there's supposed to be some rumor about John Cena returning soon. Maybe he comes back for another run, but I don't know.
We'll have to see.
Well, they're doing this big UK stadium show.
Yes,
and I think
September 3rd is the date.
I think it's going to be similar to when they go to Saudi, where they try to get all the big stars to come, and but they did sell. I think it was like 50,000 seats in like a couple minutes. So that should be interesting. We'll see what happens there.
I'll definitely watch that show just to see, because they haven't done like a big pay-per-view like that in forever, really. So
I don't think they've done a stadium UK show since SummerSlam,
yeah,
which was
30 years,
my opinion, one of my favorite stadium shows.
That is a good show. Now that
I always liked it.
Yeah,
Brett and Bulldog closing it out.
And then a good sequel with Savage and Warrior. I mean, not as good as the first, but it's still a good match.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about the Warrior.
Right. And then you got a couple of hidden gems in there.
I got into some Facebook wars with some wrestling fans this week over the Warrior. So I don't know if you saw that, but it was
I did.
Kind of fun. Kind of fun. People get so upset.
Yeah.
With my opinion of the Ultimate Warrior. So, but I'm very excited to one day do a show with you because I know that you're more of a fan than I am. So it'll be a fun debate.
Yeah, it will. All right. Well, I think we should get into the show that we are reviewing this week. And it is
Sounds good.
The first pay-per-view of the new millennium, the Royal Rumble 2000.
Yeah, and this is like the first big show without Steve Austin too, right?
Yeah.
Because they did that whole injury or him getting hit by a car on the Survivor Series. So this is kind of like that first big show where your two new top guys, Triple H and The Rock, are kind of like the headliners of the show.
Yeah.
Like they were also top guys when Steve Austin was there, but Steve Austin was definitely the 1A.
Yeah,
now you're starting to see The Rock and Triple H kind of move into that spot.
So, a couple of details before we get to the show. January 23rd, 2000 was the date. This was held in Madison Square Garden in New York City. 19,231 is the attendance, with a very nice buy rate of 590,000.
Yeah, that's a pretty big buy rate for a non-WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Isn't this the first $1 million gate?
Oh,
non-WrestleMania $1 million gate.
Let me check.
I thought I in my research of the show, I think that's what I read.
Let me check.
It might be the first $1 million gate at Madison Square Garden. That might be what I read. I know it was the biggest show in MSG. Considering they had WrestleMania 1 and 10 there. It's kind of like a shocking thing. But the business is booming in 2000.
Oh God, yeah.
94, not so much. So I believe what I read, but I just wanted to reiterate that, see if you had known that as well.
Right. I can't find it, but I'm gonna take your word for it.
Oh, my word is as good as whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely take your word for it.
All right, cool.
So, I could tell you that when this event happened, I did not see it when it happened because I remember being at basketball practice that night.
Basket.
And by the time that I was done and I got home, it would have been too late to order the show. So didn't really hurt my feelings. But I
Yeah.
have seen it. I have seen it since. So,
Okay. I watched it yesterday, so I have everything.
yeah, I watched it
in head.
yesterday as well. So be kind of fun. And then we should mention real quick, we're going to be judges as well for
Yes, we are.
a segment that happens a little later on in this show.
Yeah, I believe it's the third.
Third segment.
segment.
Yeah. So, well, let's dive into it. Opening contest of the Royal Rumble is Kurt Angle, who is still undefeated at this time, against an unknown opponent, and the unknown opponent was Taz.
Yeah, it was the least kept secret in New York.
Yes.
You hear the "We Want Taz," and I remember listening to a show about this event with Bruce Pritchard, and they were saying that they were trying to put out everything that Taz wasn't going to be the guy. They tried to keep it a secret, but you can't keep secrets. Huge pop for Taz.
Oh yeah.
And so talking about this match, I honestly thought it was going to be better when it first came out, because you have two like suplex machine type guys, right? I kind of liked the way they did it, how Taz like choked him out, and then Angle didn't lose because he was an illegal choke. I kind of like that aspect of the storyline.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little too fast. I think it was like 3.5 minutes or something.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
So, but for a big pay-per-view, a pretty cool start to the show. Decent opening match. I'm gonna give this a C+ for my grade. Based on because it was a little too short for me.
Yeah. You can tell watching this match that Kurt Angle is still learning the ropes at this time. And I'm not penalizing the match for that. But it was what it was. An opening match to get the show going, get the crowd into it, and they are into the show all night long. And this is a good way to do it. I agree with you. I liked how, even Jerry Lawler is like, that's a choke. That's not a legal move,
Yeah.
and then we get a bit later on where they're checking Kurt, and he's like, did I win?
Did I win?
No, you got choked out. Oh, that's
illegal.
Move.
It's illegal.
It's illegal. So I won. I liked it.
You know what? I think Kurt Angle's awkwardness at the beginning of his career helped his character. Like, I don't think that he meant to do that with the character. I think maybe he was just a little nervous and awkward in promos, and it kind of helped his awkward character. But
I'm not too far away from you as far as grading goes. I gave it a C- only because of the time. I wish it'd gotten a little, maybe like another minute or two, but I'm not going to be too picky. So C-.
And there was a German suplex here where Kurt Angle tried to make it look good by jumping a little bit, and then Taz wasn't used to guys doing that for him, so there is like a near miss, almost injury in this first match for Taz. So apparently there was a little bit of heat in the locker room on Taz, and this was like probably the biggest pop he ever got, and you should check it out. Taz has said in interviews that having this first match in New York and getting the pop he got, he thought he could never replicate it, so it kind of derailed his career. Like, I don't really agree with that, but that's what he said.
Yeah. All right. So the next match is the first ever tag team tables match. The Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys. And Bubba Ray cuts a promo talking about his brand new hero, Atlanta Braves pitcher, John Rocker.
So good. I love it. Honestly, it's cheap heat, but I love it when you start like giving it to the fans about their sports teams. It's just so easy. I love it. It's a really good promo for Bubba, and he was still doing the stutter bit,
A little bit of the stutter, yeah.
which I always loved. Yeah, and this is the match. This is like the beginning of like where TLC comes from.
Yeah.
Because you start seeing, because like I remember Jerry Lawler made some comments like, "Oh, they're bringing out a ladder," because this was not a TLC match. They hadn't invented this yet, but this is kind of the first one where you see tables, ladders, and chairs kind of all over the place in WWE.
Yeah. I noticed while watching the match, Bubba took 4 chair shots to the head.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some of those were sick.
Like Jeff took a bad one too.
Yeah, he did.
Like, oh Jesus.
Oh my Lord. I have to talk about one of my favorite spots of the match is they get Devon on the outside. He's laying on a table. And no. Yeah, he's laying on a table. Matt's going to do a leg drop from the top.
Yeah.
Devon moves out of the way. Matt goes through the table. Then here comes Jeff 100 miles an hour diving through the ropes. Devon moves out of the way. Jeff goes through a table. And it's like, holy crap. That was so good looking. Like these guys did not care about their bodies back then.
And then, yeah, I remember that spot that you're talking about because I really enjoyed that one too. And then I started thinking, I'm like, why didn't they lose? And then they go on later in the match and they said it has to be an offensive move,
which makes sense.
So if you dive through a table, like you missed your guy, like you don't lose because of that. So it's kind of an interesting concept.
It makes sense, honestly. Yeah. Like you have to make, like it has to be an offensive move for you to be considered out. So, the ending, got to talk about that ending. Bubba that takes the 4th chair shot to the head, falls through the tables, and then Jeff does a swanton, but it's not called a swanton at this time. JR calls it a senton.
Yeah.
From the balcony of the Garden to win the match. So beautifully executed. The crowd was into this match all the way, and I was too. This was.
Oh yeah, it was great.
I'm going to say right now, this was my second favorite match of the entire night.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I'd have to like go through the entire card still, but yeah. And what I really liked about the ending was the camera shot.
Yes.
From the back, because as Jeff does his like signature taunt thing that he does. I don't know exactly what you call it. It was really good. You see the crowd, and it's like a really intimate shot. And then he does his swanton or senton because they weren't calling it that yet, and then they get the win. I'm giving this match an A-.
We're really close. I gave it a B+. It was like almost an A. I don't know why I didn't make it an A-, but I thought a B+.
Honestly, there was a lot of like carnage, which is what you want in this. It wasn't that there was never a time where I said like I was bored, and there was never a time where I thought it was going too long.
Yeah.
So I don't give out too many A+ because an A+ match is like Taker and Undertaker. Or Taker and Shawn.
Or Taker and Undertaker.
Not Taker and Undertaker. That was a traitor. I tried to get that show reviewed and I lost in that battle once. So, but it's as close to a chaotic like Texas tornado style match that you can get.
Absolutely. All right. Now to the fun part.
Jesus Christ.
First ever 2000 Miss Royal Rumble bikini competition segment. And before we get into it, I have to mention the way that the judges are introduced. They're each one by one. So Sergeant Slaughter comes out. He gets some cheers. Tony Garea comes out. He gets some cheers. I don't know why he's not in the Hall of Fame. He's a 5-time former tag champion. How is he not in the Hall of Fame?
Well, that's a whole different show, right?
That is a whole different show.
We've had our Hall of Fame debates.
Yeah, we had it for this year. We'll do it next year. All right. Then Fabulous Moolah comes out, and a fan grabs her and kisses her.
Oh, I missed that. Seriously? Did they show it on TV?
Yeah.
Oh man, how did I miss that?
And
I probably wasn't paying attention to the entrances.
And then the awkward moment of this part, luscious Johnny Valiant comes out, and the entire crowd goes quiet. They're like, "Who?
Who's that guy?"
I felt bad for it.
You gotta get a reaction. You either gotta get booed or cheered. You can't have silence.
Right. It's like Sergeant Slaughter, yay. Tony Garea, yay. Or Fabulous Moolah, yay. Johnny V, who?
Vince is in the back. Who put him out there?
And then classic Freddie Blassie was the last one. He got a big reaction. Yeah.
Nice.
And then a last minute judge was added, Andy Richter from Conan O'Brien.
They probably found him in the crowd and like, hey, you want to be part of the show?
Yeah, really. So Jerry Lawler is the MC.
Of course he is.
Of course he is. So what we did, because there's going to be a certain someone who comes out to interrupt this.
The GOAT.
We each judged the 6 competitors in this.
Yeah.
Basically any way we wanted to. We just did it any way we wanted to. So real quick, the original 6, Ivory, Terry, Jacqueline, BB, Luna, and the Cat.
Yeah. Now, when I was watching this, I'm like, who is BB? I don't even remember this. Was she around for like 2 weeks?
She was not there long. I want to say like a few months.
Like BB. Ooh, I wonder what BB stands for. I think we probably know.
Well,
use your imagination.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what we should do. So anyway, so really like the character, and they did say it in the commentary, she was an EMT for the WWF.
Yeah.
But BB was short for Barbara Bush.
Yeah, okay.
Wow, real original WWF.
Barbara Bush.
Now I did hear at one
They
point
go creative.
I heard at one point she was dating Hardcore Holly, so
okay, that's probably how she got on the Royal Rumble show.
Maybe. All right, so DK, I'm gonna let you go first. Your order before we talk about the last second edition.
Okay, so am I doing like based on who I think should win?
Yeah, who you would have gone like from who should have won to there's no way they should have won.
Now it kind of like depends. Like what is this? The criteria is it?
It's your criteria, however you want to do it, my man.
Okay, well, there was a lot of like, obviously the Cat, because she's in a bubble wrap bikini, and that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And it's Jerry Lawler's real wife at the time.
Yeah.
He's like losing his mind. Apparently it was his idea too. Let's just wrap you in bubble wrap. Way to go, King.
Oh.
So yeah, she's definitely my winner. Number 2, probably Terry. It's kind of close. Like I'd probably go Terry, and then I'd probably go Jacqueline, and then I'd go BB, and then Ivory. Mm-hmm. Am I missing somebody?
Luna.
Yeah, well, Luna.
She refused to do it.
Luna, like she was, I don't know, she was attractive, except for like her haircut and her tattoos on the side of her head.
Right.
Like they obviously, like if she wanted to like have a different image. Like if she wasn't like in wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
she would have been a very attractive person. So and Ivory, like, but she was jacked. I didn't realize how jacked she was.
Yeah. I mean,
And she was obviously not comfortable with it. Like I don't know if that's storyline
probably was
or if
storyline.
I
Because
yeah.
I don't remember the build up to it. I really don't.
Yeah. Um yeah. And then so yeah, my winner would be the cat, and then um we would go based on what I said before. So I think Ivory and Luna probably be near the bottom.
All right. This is actually kind of funny because I have the exact same order that you do.
It's almost like we're both guys.
No.
We know what we want.
The cat,
in a bikini.
I mean, the cat, because of the bubble wrap, the bubble wrap bikini. I mean, my God, why has that not caught on?
Yeah.
Seriously, I thought that would have caught on by now. Terry was second.
On Amazon.
Seriously. Jacqueline was the one that surprised me the most because I didn't remember how she did during this because it's been a while since I'd seen this show.
Yeah.
But she really impressed me. So I gave her the third spot. BB I had fourth. She was just kind of, waving, like a beauty pageant contestant. Ivory I have fifth. She at least did it. So, all of our wife, because we're all still married to her, I guess, from that Hall of Fame speech a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then Luna, I agree with you. I think there is beauty there with her. It's just that she refused to do it. She kind of goes last.
Yeah.
And then the last minute addition to the contest, Jesus. Mae Young. It's
what a beauty.
Oh man.
Was this like before she gave birth to the hand?
Yeah, this was before she gave birth to the hand. And because I remember the videotape, which I still have.
Jesus.
And I remember on the videotape, you actually like very briefly saw.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, how are they going to do it on the network or Peacock, wherever it is you're watching? Not too bad. They didn't do bad. They blurred it, which I didn't mind. I didn't. That's an edit I did not mind. Because
normally censorship is like something I don't like. That's why I don't watch movies on TBS.
Right.
Censor things. But this is something that I was pretty happy. Like, and I know with Peacock, you guys have more censors than Canadian network. But yeah, so it'd come up and it just had like this big red X that said censored, and then you hear Jerry Lawler screaming into the microphone.
But no, I didn't like. They did a good job on the censoring part of it, so I didn't really mind it.
I did watch this live on pay-per-view.
Oh my
and
Lord.
With my dad.
Oh,
and I was so 2000. I think I would have been 17. So I'm like, I never kind of like pictured what like an older woman looked like. So now I think like because of the Royal Rumble 2000, Mae Young was like, it's just not good. But yeah, you saw everything. There was no censor. It wasn't on tape delay. You saw everything on the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and like the month before, the cat
mm-hmm.
had something on their pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of like, okay, Royal Rumble, they're doing another kind of girl thing here. Maybe we see the cat again. Nope. Mae Young. But she's a legend.
Yeah. I can't hate on Mae Young. It's impossible.
No. I remember when she did a Bronco Buster.
Yeah.
I can't remember who was on, but it was freaking glorious. But I'll give this segment like a D because it was kind of like, I don't know. I could have done without it. It was like a let me up type thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
fill some time, but
yeah, I mean, segment wise, I'd be on the same grade with you. I didn't really grade the segment, but just for purposes here, I'll agree with you. It got a D, but still, it had some good looking women on there. All right. Real quick, we go to this place called WWF New York. Have you ever heard of this place?
I have, and I thought it was a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
Have
And
you ever been there?
no, I never got to go there, which stinks because
And it was just basically a restaurant in
Times
Square, right? And then they would
Mhm.
just show like all the wrestling on big screens and stuff.
Mhm. And we got a debut on that as well. The coach, Jonathan Coachman, makes his WWF debut at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
He drew a hard assignment there, folks.
So that was the coach's like first appearance. Okay.
And then he comes up again later on to interview Linda McMahon, but that's really about it. So, all right. So next match is the triple threat match for the undisputed Intercontinental title. Chris Jericho and Chyna are co-champions, and there is a third person in the mix, Hardcore Holly.
Yeah, this is bad, honestly. Chyna in intergender matches, I didn't like it. Now I know she never wanted to work with the girls, but I feel like if she would have just maybe, you could have had like maybe a women's revolution a little bit earlier if Chyna was more capable of maybe putting over some girls. She put herself so far ahead, of all the women on the show. I didn't like this match. I'm not sure what the backstory is, why Hardcore Holly's there. Jericho was bad in this match too. They missed a lot of spots. Like I give this a D-. This is like my worst rating for this show.
Ooh.
I really didn't like this match. You can actually see a point at the end where Jericho he's like standing there blank. He forgot what he was supposed to do. Hardcore Holly, you can actually listen to him. He says bulldogger. He bulldogs her, and then he does the lion salt and pins for 1, 2, 3. It's just a bad match. I don't know if Jericho maybe didn't like working with Chyna or what it was, but it just didn't work for me.
I know in his second book, he talks about some of the frustration that he had working with Chyna, and this match is mentioned in the book. I thought it was all right. I might be a little bit nice. No, I'm not being a little bit. I'm being a lot nice on the grade of this match. For some reason, I really don't know why. I gave this a C. Don't know why. Just maybe the match had me in a good mood. I don't know.
I think you might need to watch this one again. I usually don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I know.
It was sloppy. Triple threat matches are already like hard to do.
It's already hard enough as it is.
And I don't remember the back story reason why Hardcore Holly was part of this.
No, I don't either.
I think if you have an undisputed, they're both the Intercontinental Champion. So if you're gonna have an undisputed match, you wouldn't have another guy in there because if Chyna, like, let's say Chyna beats Hardcore Holly, like, okay, I know based on those rules she's the champion, but she didn't prove anything to Jericho in the storyline.
Exactly.
So it made no sense to me. One thing with this Royal Rumble, I feel there's too many matches. I think there's too many matches because on the Royal Rumble in the 90s and early 2000s, it was usually like 3 or 4 matches, title match, like usually an IC title match, WWE title match, tag title match, Royal Rumble. That was it. And it was good. I feel like there's too many segments maybe, and maybe the matches are being rushed.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion though.
Okay. Next match is for the tag team titles. The New Age Outlaws defend against the Acolytes. Basically, the Acolytes earn the shot by winning a battle royal. There you go. There's your backstory to that match.
Okay.
This is the shortest match of the entire pay-per-view. I have the time here, 2 minutes, 35 seconds.
Yeah.
Definitely shows.
If you look at the time, like you have this one that's short. You have Taz and Angle.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a segment, Royal Rumble swimsuit competition. I don't know if you have the time there, but it's definitely longer than probably two of these matches put together.
Yeah, it's definitely longer than two of them.
So if you have Mae Young out there flashing her puppies or old dogs, as Jerry Lawler would say, maybe if you take that segment away, you could have a better tag team title match.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of weird when you have the tag titles on the line and it's not the best tag team match on the pay-per-view.
Oh God, no, it is definitely not.
What would you have, like, honestly, if I was booking this, I would have done like a 4-way tag table match. You have the Acolytes, you got the New Age Outlaws, you got Dudley Boys, and you got
the Hardys.
And the Hardys. I think that would have been like an insane match. You could give them a little bit more time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that would be tough to do with that many teams.
But it could be done.
I think it'd be better than just having a small tag match that didn't really go anywhere.
Oh, it could definitely be done.
But without rambling on too much, I'll give the tag match with the Acolytes D+. Didn't really like it that much. It's too short.
It's too short. It really is. And honestly, watching it, I was like, there was nothing to build up to the end. It really wasn't.
And you don't have to put them on like sometimes they put these guys just so they can get a big payday. Like all four of them are going to be in a Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't remember if Bradshaw was in the Rumble. I know the other three were.
Yeah, he is in that match.
Who's in it or not.
Yeah.
But.
I gave this a D. This is my least favorite match of the entire show. I mean, even if they got a few more minutes, I don't think it would have been as good, honestly.
Yeah.
So, all right. Now we go to the WWF Championship. Cactus Jack challenging Triple H in a street fight.
Yeah. Okay, this is Triple H's best match in his career for me. No doubt about it. I'll put this against any match he ever had. The Undertaker Wrestlemania matches, I'll put it up against that. This was so good. Everything about this match was good.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was the first pay-per-view without Stone Cold Steve Austin in 3+ years.
Yeah.
I think that he knew that he had to kill this match.
And we're talking major pay-per-views.
Yeah.
We're talking like the big four, basically.
He used to be the blue blood, and now he's kind of transitioning into this almost badass wrestler character.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the match that kind of pushed him, I think, into that next level.
Oh, God, yeah.
He had a freaking piece of wood stuck in his leg from getting backdrop on a pallet.
For over like a half hour.
Watch the Coliseum video.
Yes.
Extra footage. They don't have it on the network
for some
stupid reason.
It's pretty gruesome, folks.
They pull the wood out. The blood squirts Stephanie in the forehead. It's freaking beautiful. And this is actually the first time that I think they weren't actually married at this time. They were kind of thinking.
I don't think they were even dating at this time.
No, they weren't dating. And there's a story about how when Triple H kisses her before he goes into the ring, that was kind of like the first thing that happened to get their relationship going, I guess. So kind of cool.
I'll be honest with the wooden pallet thing that you just mentioned.
Ugh.
When I first saw it on tape, I had to rewind the tape to see it again. And I'm like, what the hell did I just see? Because you see it get pulled out and it's only like 90 seconds, like the clip, but it's like, oh my God, And you can
How
even
scared? Okay, I'm gonna put you in Triple H's shoes here. Okay,
Mhm,
you're a wrestler. You're the heavyweight champion.
mhm.
You're having a match with Mick Foley. It's a street fight on pay per view
In Madison Square Garden.
in Madison Square Garden. Mick Foley is basically on his way out.
Mhm.
Uh, How are you sleeping on Saturday night knowing what you're about to go through? Wrestling is scripted, yes, but those thumbtacks, you can't fake thumbtacks.
Nope.
Okay?
You can't fake thumbtacks. You can't fake. Well, you could fake barbed wire, but
Yeah, you can put little rubber things
yeah,
on them, but um I don't know. I would be extremely nervous
I
going into
would
any
too.
wrestling match. If I'm going again against Mick Foley, knowing
Hmm
what he did at King of the Ring,
hmm
just for the wrestling business,
And then to think
like
about
oh
it,
my god.
and then to think about it during the match, the thing with the wooden pallet, it's like in the first 5 minutes of the match. It is early. It's not like middle of the match. It's not towards the end. It's in the
Yeah.
first 5 minutes of the match. So he has this piece of wood stabbed into his leg, goes another 20 minutes with it. And then, you still have to go through all the different spots, all the different things.
Yeah.
It's insane. And I think that's why 20 plus years later, this match is still fondly remembered for so many reasons. But I couldn't imagine what I would have been if I was Triple H the night before that match. I don't know if I don't know how much sleep I would have gotten that night, honestly.
And I think now tell me what you think about this. Based on this match, I think that they blew it out of the park
Yes.
and WrestleMania was lackluster because of it.
Yep.
You have this main event. If this if you flip-flop things and this is the main event at WrestleMania 2000,
Oh my lord.
then you have Mick Foley getting his moment so he doesn't have to come back
You would be
like 15 years later to wrestle Edge.
if this was the main event of that year's WrestleMania, we're probably saying it's an top 10 all-time WrestleMania main event.
Yeah.
That's how confident I am in saying
This is a top 10 match for me. Like, I know we did our WrestleMania countdown show, but like,
this would have definitely been in my top.
yeah,
10.
if we were just doing a top 10 match, like, regardless of when it happened, like, this would definitely be in it for me. And this is my now Mick Foley's, he's had some wars. That the war he had the year before against The Rock,
Mhm.
the King of the Ring,
Mhm.
Hell in a Cell,
Mhm.
that a lot of people hold up. They call it the greatest Hell in a Cell match of all time. I don't, because it's just a lot of like awful bad things that happened.
Yeah.
And it could have been catastrophic. Like I heard on a podcast. I'm curious what you think about this. I know we're getting a little bit off topic, but if Owen Hart had died at Over the Edge 98 and not 99, do you think Mick Foley does that?
No.
I don't think so.
Mick Foley is considered one of the nicest people ever in wrestling. Like Jim Cornette has gone on to say, and he loves Mick. He does. But he has said Mick is too nice for the business, which is true. I mean, I love Mick, but he's right. Mick Foley is such a nice person that he might be too nice for pro wrestling. But I think Mick has he has so much respect for so many people, and Owen is definitely one of them. I don't think he would have done it. I really don't.
I was just thinking, I don't think like it would be allowed based on like the accident that happened to Owen that they would like take that kind of risk, just for a wrestling angle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I give this an A. It was pretty close to getting an A plus. I was entertained the entire time. The pedigree on the thumbtacks.
Oh my lord!
Where either he's the luckiest guy ever, or there's so much planning to it. Like all those thumbtacks that could have gone in his eye.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, and The Rock coming out was very surprising. I actually forgot about it. he just smacked Triple H in the head with the chair and then left.
Yep.
Which is kind of weird. But that's just setting up the storyline down the line. So yeah, I give it an A.
I also gave this an A. This is the match, this is the match that pretty much put Triple H to the top tier of the company. And I kind of go back to, if you ever watch the Legends of Wrestling and you watch the beginning, and there's that clip where Ted DiBiase talks about Steve Austin, where he's like, once you are over, you're over for good. This is pretty much Triple H's match where once he got over, he's over for good. Like, he cannot go backwards. He is staying at the top. And
I agree.
And the thing with Mick, and I'm not sure how much you knew about this, because he talked about it in his second book. So 2 book references in 1 episode. This is a record. In his second book, he had talked about how he was originally going to retire at the Survivor Series. But because Austin needed the neck surgery, he decided, okay, I'll hold off a little bit more.
Okay.
So because of that, Mick stays with the company and he ends up getting this match. And I think part of it is because he did stay on a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because if he does stick with the retirement at Survivor Series, who does it become Big Show and Triple H for the title, or does it become Triple H? There's a few possibilities, but
like Big Show was a heel, so it would have been probably the number 2 babyface, whoever that was.
Right, whoever that was. Would it have been Jericho? No, I don't think it would have been Jericho.
I'm trying to think of this show.
Yeah,
like basically The Rock is the number 1 babyface.
What did it?
I don't know. Kane? Maybe Jericho.
Maybe. What about Kane? Kane was pretty popular.
Maybe Kane as a fill-in for, and then we'll talk about after the Rumble match.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Mick Foley staying really helped Triple H.
It did.
And I'll put Mick Foley as like the number 1 guy to get Triple H over, similar to Bret Hart
with Austin.
Yeah, it takes a superstar to get a superstar over. The Rock, maybe Austin helped The Rock. Triple H is helped here by Mick Foley.
Yep, absolutely.
So.
Well, I wish we could say that's the end of the show, but we still have a Royal Rumble to go through.
And I want to say one thing before we go ahead.
Yeah.
You said something to me when we were doing one of our first podcasts that you and your friend were talking about, and I said that let's talk about that when we do a show on this show. And you said, has there ever been like a Royal Rumble pay-per-view that was overshadowed by like a title match?
Right, I do remember that.
And we talked about this one, and I think this show, if you look back on it, I'm thinking maybe you do the Rumble before this and you close with the title match. But.
Yeah, because and actually I was thinking about it while watching this, because for those that are new to this or don't remember our conversation, I did a Royal Rumble podcast, which is still up for the time being. It's going to be up for a little while longer. And we did the 2000 Royal Rumble match. And the co-host and we discussed, is this like the one Royal Rumble where it is overlooked by basically the title match and anything else that happens on the show? And I think if it's not the only one, it's at least the first one, because I'm sure some may be saying 99, but you got to think about it. 99 was Austin and Vince in the Rumble. So even with whatever Mankind and Rock did, which is basically mutilate Mankind for 20 plus minutes,
11 chair shots when he agreed to 4.
Exactly. He still had Austin and Vince. So yeah, this is at least the first one. I don't know if it's the only one, but it's at least the first one. I'll say that. Okay, so now to the Royal Rumble. This is 90-second intervals. We're not going to go through every spot because it'll take a long time. I guess we could pick like maybe some of our favorite moments before we get to the end of the match.
Sure. I really liked how they did the Too Cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think, I gotta say this. There's nothing that makes me laugh harder than listening to Jim Ross say Grandmaster Sexy. Because he always emphasizes the sexy. And it's in his like Oklahoma hillbilly accent. It's like, I was killing myself. And I was like, God, I hope he stays in this ring long. And then he gets eliminated. And then he's like, Rikishi has eliminated Grandmaster Sexy. Like, oh my God, I love it. So that was definitely something that I took and I loved it. Mm-hmm. What'd you think of the surprise entrant?
Oh, you mean Mr. Bob Backlund?
Yeah, he comes out in like these red.
He's in good shape.
What's happening here?
Oh my God! Okay, let me look at how old he would have been at this.
He was like 45 or something, right? He wasn't like extremely old.
50.
Like he's 50. Okay,
he's 50 in that match. He is in terrific shape at 50 years old.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like, oh my God, he's probably in better shape than some of the other wrestlers there in the locker room.
Oh, for sure.
Now I'm sure you have I'm going to answer any question that you had about Bob Backlund, and because they did mention he was running for Senate in Connecticut, and that's actually true. That actually happened.
He's looking for registered voters.
Yep, he sure is. He obviously did not win.
No.
He did. I don't think he even got on the ticket. Oh, here it is. In 2000, he unsuccessfully ran for a Connecticut seat in Congress on a Republican ticket. So, okay. So at least he got to, election day on the ballot, but
not enough wrestling fans in Connecticut, even though that's where the
I wonder how he would have done. I think he might have been good. Like if he had, I know we don't talk about politics, but I'll just say it real quick. I think he would have been one of those like people persons that just connects with like an average you and me.
Yep.
I think he would have been okay in Congress.
There's been some wrestlers in politics like Jesse the Body. And, Glenn Jacobs is the mayor of Knox County.
Right. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that Bob Backlund could have gone all the way to the White House, but I think he would have been good in Congress.
Considering who you've had in the White House, I think Bob Backlund might be a step up.
Hey, okay, this is a shoot, folks. I take Bob Backlund as president over the current president right now. That's a shoot.
Did you know Bob Backlund won't give you an autograph unless you can name all the presidents?
Actually, I have a friend who is on our group who got his picture taken with Bob Backlund, and he got put in the crossface chicken wing. I have seen the picture.
Okay, he's in our group. Okay,
yes.
Tag him in the show.
I will.
And I want to hear like.
Yes. Yeah, I know the story myself, but I'll let you hear.
You comment like when you post the show in the Facebook group, tag him and tell him I want the story in the comments.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so one of my favorite moments is the absolute abuse of Jerry Lawler in Instant Replay during this match. Because
or Taka.
Oh my God. So so there's a story during the match, which again, I didn't know this happened until like I watched it however long ago it was. Mm-hmm. Well, there were some people that thought they were in the Rumble, but they weren't. Kai and Ty were two of them. So Funaki and Taka get in. So, or they're not in. So
Mhm.
they run interference the first time. Nothing happens. Second time around, Taka takes this face plant to the floor, and Jerry Lawler is like, "This is the greatest thing. I want a replay of that." So we see it one time. Can we see Taka fall again? Taka 2 times. Can we see it one more time? I want to see the Chinese guy fall out.
Yeah.
Taka 3 times.
The racism was unbelievable. Like, it was comedic.
And
He's like,
JR,
I hope you found a Chinese hospital.
and JR's like, he's not Chinese, he's Japanese.
And he's like, I hope you can find a Chinese hospital. I like spit my drink out.
It is the greatest
I'm like,
abuse.
they don't have those. You can go to any hospital you want.
It is
Doesn't matter.
It is the greatest abuse of instant replay I have ever seen in my life.
And Taka got legitimately hurt.
It was a legit.
Like, he went to the hospital. I think he did he break his arm or separate his shoulder or something? It was nasty. He just over rotated and he slammed his face on the ground.
Yeah, let me
Taka.
yeah. Maybe I'll find. Oh, maybe I'll find what. Okay, his injuries ranged from a concussion to an injured shoulder and collarbone.
Okay.
So it could have been any of those.
Oh man.
Poor Taka. One of the things this is something that I definitely could tell while watching it. Those fans were so impatient for The Rock to come out. They just wanted him to come out. It's like, we want Rocky. And it's like, they might burn down if The Rock doesn't show up soon, because fans are ready.
This is one of my criticisms of this Royal Rumble, is you knew who was going to be, at least at the end.
Yes.
You knew the two guys. They even, like, The Rock even, like, he made like a joke about Crash Holly and
Headbanger Mosh.
And Headbanger Mosh. You kind of knew it was going to be Big Show and The Rock at the end. I didn't see the Big Show winning because he's a heel. You don't have heels win the Rumble very often. And that's like some of the best Royal Rumbles. 92, 97, 2001 for me. 2002 as well. Because there's so many guys that could have won.
Yeah.
And there's intrigue. If you look at the 30 guys in this Rumble, there was one guy that should win. And unless there was some crazy surprise entrant, like Steve Austin comes back early, something like that, there's nobody else in this Rumble had a chance, except for maybe the Big Show. But at this time, you didn't know that, like, because he was kind of like their big free agent in 99. Maybe he wins it.
Yeah.
But when he picked him up, started walking around, like,
because like some of the people that are in this match already had a match earlier, so by default that kind of takes them out. So it's like, well, Jericho and China, they're not going to win because they're still in a feud. The Outlaws are the tag champs, so they're not going to win. Plus they're with DX, they're with Triple H, so they're not going to win.
Yeah.
X-Pac's not going to win, that. The Acolytes aren't going to win. Yeah, I agree with you. I think other than The Rock and then possibly the Big Show, there's really nobody else that could have won this.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? And this kind of reminded me a lot of 1998, where the announcers and all the build-up, it was all about Steve Austin. You kind of knew he was going to win. Same thing with The Rock here. I think if Steve Austin maybe wasn't hurt, and it was Steve Austin and The Rock both in there, you would have a legit chance at one of them winning, but you didn't know who.
Right.
So I think That's why I think it gets better. 2001, 2002,
Right.
2003, because you have all these different guys. Like in 2002, you had Triple H returning, you had Kurt Angle, you had Steve Austin, you had
Undertaker.
Undertaker, you had, I think The Rock was in a title match that
Mhm.
night. He wasn't in the Rumble, but
Right.
there was like 4 or 5 like top guys that could have won.
Yeah,
At this era, there was one guy,
exactly.
and the crowd knew it. Everybody that was watching on pay per view knew it, and that's,
And
I think that's the criticism I have over this Rumble match, and that's why like I liked the pay per view
right.
based on the title match and the tables match, but honestly, the Rumble match is not too good. It's one of the worst ones for me.
Like my thing, and I want to see if you had the same feeling as I did watching this towards like maybe the last 10 guys coming in, and in the end I just felt tired because like between the title match, the tables match, and a few other things, like I was just out of it by that point. And
Yeah,
the whole show had gone quick, which is always a plus for me. If the show goes quick, beginning to end, and it doesn't feel like anything dragged, then that's a good show to me.
yeah.
Up until towards the end of the match, I was like, I mean, I still like the show. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, come on, I'm ready for this to be over. Because like you
Yeah,
said, it's The Rock and everybody else, and it's pretty much we all knew who was going to win, you know. Um, so let's get briefly to the ending. So the final 4 ends up being Rock, Big Show, Kane, and X-Pac.
yeah,
X-Pac eliminates Kane. Then Big Show eliminates X-Pac. We come down to Rock and Big Show. And then we get this ending, which is kind of interesting now that we think of it. Big Show has The Rock. He's going to dump him out. Rock grabs the rope. They both go over the top. Big Show goes to the floor first. Rock wins. But and I guess this was an accidental botch ending, because I mean, I never thought of it as that. Like the following weeks after, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe Rock is the one that's out first, because you didn't get the angle on this night for the show.
yeah.
But like the Raws and SmackDowns after, and again, this is sometimes good angles can come from accidents.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of them, where Big Show's like, wait a minute, I won this thing. His feet touched the floor first, so I should be declared the winner. And that, I remember the angle was good because he's like, I've got this as evidence. I've got this as evidence. I've got this as evidence. But at the time when this happened, you're like, okay, Rock wins.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to Raw the next night, and then SmackDown. Like I said, it keeps going, and you're like, oh, okay. And then Rock kind of brings it up like 15 years later on a Raw with Big Show. And he's like, hey, Big Show, I watched the WWE Network lately, and you were right. You should have won the Royal Rumble. And then Big Show's over, and he's like,
Oh, that's good stuff.
yeah. As far as the match goes, and again, maybe I'm being a bit generous on my grading. I'm giving this a C because there were some good moments, like Rikishi and Too Cool. I enjoyed that. The constant interference, I did enjoy that. But like you said, it was basically, well, we all know who's going to win it. It's just just has to be done.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not as generous. I'm pretty close. C- for me.
Yeah.
There wasn't a Iron Man either in this Rumble, which I always like to see one guy like kind of start in like the top 5 and then like make it to the end.
Let me see.
The Iron Man for this Rumble is Test.
Yes, 26 minutes.
Which is not anything to brag about.
It's really not.
26 is probably the shortest Iron Man in Rumble.
Oh, probably.
If I can, maybe not. In '95 they did 1 minute entries, so.
But Sean was in there from beginning to end, so
yeah, Sean was only in there for like 36 minutes or something.
Yeah, he was there the entire match. So yeah, Yeah. But anyway,
I don't hold that against him.
No.
Only in there as long as they give you. Yeah, so C minus. The comedy in it was funny with Rikishi and Grandmaster Sexay. It's the greatest thing ever. So like watch it again just so you can hear JR. The Kai and Tai stuff.
Poor Taka.
Jerry Lawler just being ridiculous. Yeah, Chinese guy got hurt, I think.
He's Japanese.
He's Japanese. Whatever. Yeah, you couldn't say that now, but
no, there's that's the way it is. Way you can do that.
Overall, I'll give the show a C, and there's a couple A's in there. This is a lackluster show for me, but there's some like the title match is excellent.
Yes,
the tables match is excellent. Everything else is kind of meh for me.
I'm going to agree with you on the grade. I will say it's a C. Obviously, the title match is the one that everyone should go check out if you've never seen that show before. It is a classic. And the tables match is really good too. Like that is fun match to watch. And then also, just for the heck of it, watch the Miss Royal Rumble swimsuit competition just to see where.
Try to find the uncensored version if you can. You want to see some old puppies.
Please no.
I'll try to find a picture and I'll text it to you.
No.
And, you can save it as your screensaver.
Oh God, no. So one thing I do want to mention is what happens the following week after the Royal Rumble. Do you remember what happens the week after the Rumble?
I don't. I've watched WrestleMania 2000 recently, and then I watched Royal Rumble yesterday, but I haven't seen kind of the in-between stuff.
The week after, that's the key word, the week after the Royal Rumble is the debut of Benoit, Malenko, Guerrero, and Saturn.
Right.
Week, and they get such a big pop, and that's another story that Mick talks about in his second book, where the original main event for the No Way Out pay-per-view the next month was going to be those 4 guys against DX. That was going to be the main event for that show. But when Eddie injured his elbow, it changed everything.
Well, so Triple H was like in the McMahon Helmsley thing, but he was still kind of in DX too. Because this is like DX is starting to kind of disappear.
Yeah.
You got Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, and X-Pac. And then you got Triple H do his own thing. So I don't know. Like, it would have been good. It's too bad they couldn't get those guys signed a few weeks earlier and had them be surprise Royal Rumble entrants.
Oh, man.
It would have been so much better.
That would have been great.
Now, they're WCW guys debuting in MSG.
Oh.
I don't know if it would have been as big. Because you got
I think you would have had
some New York wrestling fans, they like WWE, and that's it.
But there are some in New York that are like, they know their stuff. Like,
yeah.
So they probably would have known of like Malenko and Benoit and Guerrero, maybe Saturn.
Yeah.
So, but there is one thing that I want to talk about, and I kind of want your opinion on this because maybe it's an East Coast bias. I'm not really sure, but I kind of want to. I kind of want to see with what you think of when I say this.
Sure.
And I was thinking about this while watching the show last night because they being WWE, they've had a good group of pay-per-views. I don't know the exact number, but they've had a good sized number of pay-per-views in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
I can't think of one pay-per-view that they've ever had in Madison Square Garden that WWE has had where I thought it was terrible. I honestly cannot think of one pay-per-view. Like there may be some that are like, they're okay, they're good. Like this one would be an example, but I can't think of one pay-per-view that WWE's ever had in the Garden where I thought it was terrible.
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
Well, I think that's kind of like the measuring stick.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a wrestler and you're performing at MSG, then you bring your A game. So, and I don't think they would ever, if they had a pay-per-view booked, I don't think that they would allow it to be terrible.
I think if you're gonna make the case for one, maybe the first WrestleMania, but I didn't think it was a terrible show. It's just, it's the times. Times change, they're different. And that may be a good discussion on our Facebook group. Can anybody think of a terrible or bad or terrible, however you want to put it, WWE pay-per-view in Madison Square Garden? Because I mean, they've had house shows, and there are probably some bad house shows. They've had Raws and SmackDowns there, and there've probably been some bad ones. But as far as pay-per-views go, I can't think of a terrible one. I really can't.
Yeah. Well, I'd have to go through it in the last maybe 10 years of pay-per-view, because the main ones that I can think of are WrestleMania, the first one, and WrestleMania 10, and this show.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of, and then
SummerSlam.
If you're talking about bad pay-per-views for MSG, SummerSlam 98 wasn't great.
I'm a fan of that one, actually. I kind of like that show myself, but
the show was okay. The main event wasn't very good. I don't think Austin and Undertaker didn't work very well together, in my opinion.
I think that's the one where Austin got concussed.
Yeah, he got he kicked Taker and he hit his head and then got him right on the chin, just knocked him out. He didn't remember the rest of the match.
Yeah.
Let me think. There was another one I was thinking of there. WrestleMania 20.
Oh, I love 20. 20
it was
a good show.
It was good. I'm trying to think of the now WrestleMania 20, the two title matches were awesome.
Oh my god.
But you know what? I always remember bad stuff. I remember Lesnar, Goldberg, and then I just think it was a bad show, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Benoit, whatever he did.
I'll say this about 20. You have a good show when the women's bra and panties tag match is better than Lesnar and Goldberg. And it was. It actually wasn't that bad of a match. I'm not saying it's 5 stars, but as far as watching it, it was not that bad.
That's funny.
So yeah, I'll put that up in the group. If anyone can think of a terrible or bad or terrible, however you want to describe it, MSG WWE pay-per-view, leave it in the comments. We'll discuss it in the next episode.
Yeah, we should almost have a show on MSG.
Oh, I'd love to
talk
do
about
that.
the main things that happened in that
Yeah.
arena. The
Yeah.
first time Austin stunned McMahon was in
Hmm.
there. At that same show, that's when McMahon told Bret Hart he couldn't honor his contract and
Yep.
kind of changed the course of wrestling history.
Hmm.
Lots
Sure
of
did.
interesting things
Yeah.
that happened in that arena. One arena I would like to visit one day,
You got to go at least once.
even
It's
if it's not wrestling. I just go
right.
see a Ranger game or a concert,
Exactly.
or just to say I've
Exactly.
been there.
Yeah.
But
Because, it's like Vince McMahon said, Garden will always be the Garden. Yeah.
the Garden, yeah,
The
sounds
Garden.
like a Boston.
I know. I don't know why he does in that. Like that one, it's like that weird clip was like, Vince, the Garden will always be the Garden.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
Well, why don't we, before we go, why don't we
yeah.
talk about our wrestler profile? Now, the poll is still going.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Now, we had a little scheduling conflict with our other podcast. Today was the day that JC was available. So we're going to be doing our wrestler profile next Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Jake the Snake Roberts is leading Shawn Michaels.
Dominating.
We will have this poll up till about, let's say, Thursday. So we have time to. Yeah,
I'll be honest. I'm surprised because.
Well, see, my thinking is now we're doing 90 to 92, I believe is what you said.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people that voted. Now, I'm a little biased because mine is Shawn 96 to 98. Now, with Jake the Snake Roberts, I think a lot of people want to talk about the demons and the issues. Now we're going to go through Jake's 90 to 92, and I'm sure there's going to be some stuff there. So we can talk Jake everything if you want.
Right.
But I think the majority of guys that are voting for him to win that might be the reason.
Maybe.
That's just my thinking. No one has said anything to me about that. I'm looking forward to either show. Shawn 96 to 98
because I do want to do Shawn 96 to 98. We've talked about that man so many times.
Well, this is my pledge to you. Okay. Now, we've wanted to do the Shawn 96 and 98 show before. If Jake wins, Jake will be the next show.
Yes.
And the show after that will be Shawn 96 and 98. Because there's been so much, like the poll has been actually really good this time. Appreciate everyone.
Yes.
For sharing it and voting. So that's what I would like to do, if you're okay with that.
I am more than fine with that.
And if you would like to nominate the next pay-per-view we do in the next few weeks.
Actually, I'm
that's fine by me.
Actually, I'm kind of glad you brought that up because I want to do, I kind of want to do something different for the pay-per-views.
All right, I'm in.
And I thought about this and I was like, he might go for this.
I'm pretty easy going. I'm
thinking like, I'm like 99.999% sure he'll go for this.
Okay, I almost want to say no now just to mess with it.
Okay. For the next pay-per-view poll, let's you and I pick a show. It could be WWF, WCW, ECW. Pick one pay-per-view we've never seen. Like you pick one that you've never seen, and I'll pick one that I've never seen.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to think of like which one to go for. So it's gonna take me a couple of weeks, but I'll probably have a pick maybe by next episode.
There's now I'm more of a WWE fan. There's a lot of Attitude Era. I know it's not Attitude Era when we're talking about WCW, but at that time frame during the Monday Night Wars, there's a lot of WCW that I didn't see.
Yeah.
There is a show that I've never seen, and you're going to probably grab your hands and pretend you're Kevin McAllister. Like this, like
Yeah.
I've never seen Starrcade 97. I've never seen it. You got Sting and Hogan and Brett and
Okay.
some other issues. I'm not saying there was a few times where I wasn't able to watch a show. I never watched a replay of different events. Most of WWE I've seen.
Right.
I think there was a time between like '06 where I didn't watch wrestling, so it's probably a few in '06 I haven't seen, but Starrcade 97 would be an interesting one.
Yeah, it would. Because I remember getting that show on pay-per-view. So
What if there's a show that we both haven't seen that we could just do?
Oh, that would be fun.
Or we're watching it for the first time. And you know what? I did find a way. Now we can't record it.
Right.
But I can share my screen.
Yes.
On the WWE network.
Yes.
Because I feel bad about this because JC wanted to join the Rumble show today and I completely forgot about it.
Oh.
I didn't invite him.
Oh.
So JC, I apologize because we watched the tables match together. We were testing out his Wi-Fi to make sure it'll be okay for the sports podcast.
Yeah.
But I am able to share my screen, but we can't record it.
Actually, you know what? Real quick, before we wrap this up, I want to mention, I think he's in our group. I'm not, let me double check. Because if he isn't, I'm gonna, oh, okay, he is on. So a good friend of mine, Ted, he admitted something, because you had talked about you've never seen Starrcade 97.
Yeah.
He admitted something to me many years ago, and this is going to be your Kevin McAllister, so get your hands ready.
I'm ready, man.
He admitted to me many years ago he had never seen Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat from WrestleMania 3.
What?
For those of you on audio, DK just walked out.
I want to close my monitor right now.
So
okay, so does this mean he's never seen Hogan and Andre, or he just like, did he go for bathroom break during top 5 greatest match of all time?
No, I think I do believe he's seen Hogan Andre.
Okay, so I think we need to suspend him from the group.
No, hold on.
For until he watches it, and then he can come back.
Hold on. I was going
That's
to
ludicrous.
tell you.
Ludicrous.
I was going to tell you that within the last month or two, he did watch that match.
Okay.
And he loved it. I'm trying to find the text.
No shit.
I know, right?
That's like, I've never had steak before. I actually like steak. Really?
Where, hold on. Where is that text? I mean, I'm not going to show it on the video, but.
Hey, Bill, you know what? That match was actually pretty good.
Maybe it was on Facebook.
That's funny.
Said it to me.
You know, sometimes you just miss things.
Yeah, and he's older than me by like 2 or 3 years. And when he told me that, I kind of had the same reaction, except me not walking away from you. I'm like,
yeah. Hopefully, you guys were watching on video because I stormed off for like a few seconds.
Like, so I was like, my God, you've never seen that. Like, I was surprised because I'm like, I guess that's one of those matches where you universally, unless you're like a kid, you've never seen that match, which, okay, I would get because you're a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe it was on my phone. He sent it to me, but yeah, he watched it and he loved it. So
yeah. It's one of those matches that holds up. Like, honestly, like sometimes when you build a match up, if you've never seen it and then you watch it and like maybe go, oh, that was pretty good. I don't know what's all the fuss about, but you know what? I watched that match like the first time I watched WrestleMania 3 for the first time. It wasn't live, obviously. I was like 4 years old.
Right.
I think I was probably 10 when I watched that show for the first time for everything. I think I had like a Hulkamania. It was a DVD, not a DVD, a VHS called Hulkamania.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the Andre match.
Right.
And I'm like, I want to see this whole WrestleMania. This looks cool. And then that's when I saw the Macho Man Steamboat match. But I'm sure there's matches out there that are great, legendary matches, and just maybe some people haven't seen them. So
yeah, like
I stormed off for comedic effect.
Yeah, of course.
But
Like
I'm glad that he's seen it now.
My match.
That he liked it.
My match that I've never seen, that I feel like a lot of people have seen, but I have a good reason why I didn't watch it at the time, is Cena and Shawn Michaels, the hour match from Raw. Like I said, I have a good reason. And my reason was the night that match happened, or the night that it aired, I fell asleep. So I woke up at like long after the show had ended. And the next day I get on the computer and people are like, that's one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. Oh my God. And I'm like, oh, really? Oh man.
I missed it.
But thankfully, because of the network,
Yeah.
I will watch it, folks. One day I will watch that match. And when I do, I will let you all know my thoughts on that match.
It's a 1 hour match on Raw.
I can do an hour.
So I'm going to admit something. I have not seen this either.
Oh, okay.
So maybe in the future, we will do a John Cena, Shawn Michaels watch along.
There you go.
And we will watch it for the first time together.
There you go.
On the watch along.
Yeah.
Now,
that might be the next watch along period.
Hopefully there's a way that we can record on Zoom here without recording the shared screen. I think there's a way to do that.
There might be a way, yeah.
So, but I did test it out. I can share my screen, so we can do watch-alongs at the same speed, because I know like sometimes where it's a little bit off when we do. We've only done a couple watch-alongs. I'm sure we'll probably the next one will be around SummerSlam. We'll watch an old SummerSlam. Maybe when it comes up on certain pay-per-views, maybe 20 years old or something, we'll pick something like that.
Okay.
But yeah. So what was your grade on this show, on Royal Rumble 2000?
I gave it a C.
Yeah, I think we were around the same page on that one.
Yeah.
So probably Jake the Snake Roberts next week.
Yep.
Let's just call it now, actually. Jake the Snake.
We're calling this.
Jake the Snake next week. 2 weeks. 2 weeks from Monday will be Shawn Michaels 96 and 98.
Yep.
Because I would like to book maybe 2 or 3 shows in advance so we can kind of have a little bit more time to study what we're doing. And those are going to be fun shows to do.
Those are going to be fun.
And then maybe we can, we'll put our poll up for our pay-per-view we have never seen. I will stick with Starrcade 97.
All right.
And then you can put yours up as well.
All right.
Thanks everybody for watching, listening, whatever you're doing. Keep listening to us. Group is growing.
Yes, it is.
I've had multiple offers to be on other shows based on this show.
Very good.
So unfortunately, it's hard for my schedule. Mondays is kind of like the only day I can do this. So
yeah,
I appreciate it. We're not doing this for fame. We're doing this just to pass the time and reminisce on wrestling. But it's been great. Appreciate everyone that listens, and hope everyone has a great day.
Yep. Have a good day, everyone.